All right, we're ready for your next math lesson of the day. Today we're going to be working on 2.6 in our books. This is going to be a lesson all about writing numbers just before and just after a certain number. Now parents, be prepared. This thing is going to blow your students' minds. It's okay. It happens every time. It's just a new concept for them to be working on. You are going to need a page out of this book right here. And that is page number 39. It's a little yellow B and it looks like this. It says just before and just after on it. So you can go ahead and tear those out. We are going to have a little tool in this book. It's called a number track up here that's going to help out quite a bit when we get to the actual thing. This is a little small for me. So what I did was I went ahead and made a bigger number track. So if you want to make one like this, it's going to be a little bit easier for students to work through what comes right before and what comes after later. So if you want to make something like this, I highly encourage it. This is something that you can even put little things on and move them on pretty easily for them to see them moving or like going to the number that's just before or just after. This is kind of up to you. They can also use that one in the book if you want. Like I said, this is just easier for me. So we actually invited a little bit of friends to kind of go over this number number track. So I invited some of my robot friends with us to kind of help us out with this particular aspect. I drew a number track on the desk so we can kind of just remember how numbers go. So for this part, this one's for all the students. So parents, you can come and hang out with us while we're doing it. We're going to do a little bit of counting with my friends, the robots. They are going to turn around when it is their turn to count, and they are going to say their number as loud as proud as they can. So we always start with number 1 when we're counting forward. That's our bread and butter. That's our first one. So we're going to start right here with this little guy. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we did our counting. We started at 1. We started down here at the very starting point. We can count forward this way all the way up to 10 like these robots did. We didn't change our order at all. We kept those numbers right where they were. We didn't mix them up, and we kept right here and we went straight down the line. So if we're counting forward, that's how we would go. I would say, what number came after this friend? So the number that came after this friend would be the next one down the line. So if I say, what number is after robot number 1, then I would know that it would be robot number 2. He came right after. Do I know what came before robot number 1? I wouldn't, because I don't have this number yet. I didn't put it in part of my line. You're not going to look at it in your track. We'll talk about 0 way later on. Now, that's counting forward, but what if we want to count backwards? What if we want to know all the numbers that came before? Well, this one is a little bit different. This is when you are pretending to be a rocket ship and you are going to blast off. So counting backwards is a little bit like pretending like to be a rocket ship. You probably pretended to be a rocket ship before, but if not, now is your chance. So join me in counting backwards, and we're going to pretend that we're a rocket ship, and then we can do a blast off at the end by going blast off, all right? So we're going to start with 10. This is our little robot right here. He is going to jump up in the air and turn back around when he counts. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off! So that's when we do our backwards counting. Notice that we went this way when we were counting backwards. When you're on your track, you will do that a little bit when you're looking at the numbers. So if we have one of our friends going, we're going to use our robot friend that did our blasting off. We're going to have him move down the track. And we're going to talk about all the different numbers that he goes by when he's doing that. So he's going to start with number 1, and all the rest of his friends are going to kind of watch and cheer him on. because they're all very helpful. They're all good robot friends. They're like, go Clyde, you can do it. So he's got his little number track here. He's going to walk down it. So he starts at number 1. The number after number 1 is going to be the next number. So he goes 1, 2. 2 is after 1. The next, if he keeps going, it's going to be the next number that's after it. So the number after 2 is going to be 3. So if you said 3, good job. The number after 3 is, what is this number? This is the number 4, that's right. The number after 4, you keep going down the row, is 5. Hopefully you can see that. If we keep going, the number after 5 is 6. The number after 6 would be 7. If you said 7, you are correct. The number after 6 is 7. The number after 7 is going to be 8. And all the robots cheer. Woo! We got it right. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Number after 8 is 9. And the number after 9 is 10. So we just keep moving down this way and looking at all our numbers the normal way. Let's talk a little bit about before, the numbers that are before. Before is kind of like taking a step backwards in time. Let me show you. So right now I am in my classroom. Where am I going to be after I step out of my classroom? What does this look like? It looks like after I step out of my classroom, I am going to be in a bathroom. Ew, it's gross. It's a bathroom. You don't want to be in there. But if I step in here, after I was in my classroom, I was in the bathroom. Now let's look at it in reverse and we'll see where I was before. I'm in the bathroom right now, but if I think about where I was before I was in my classroom. So it's kind of like taking a step backwards in time. Over here on our numbers, it's the same thing. Our friend McGonagall the robot is all the way down here at 10. But where was he before he stepped here? Let's take him back in time. Before he was here, he was here. So the number before 10 is 9. The number before 9, well, we're going to go backwards a little bit more to this number, is 8. The number before 8 is 7. And the number before 7 is 6. The number before 6 would be 5. The number before 5 would be 4. We keep going backwards in time. The number before 4 is 3. And the number before 3 is 2. We're almost out of numbers. He's about ready to blast off. The number before 2, if he goes all the way back, is 1. So if we're counting off, it's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off! And he goes and takes off. So if we're going before, it's kind of like taking a step back in time. If we're going to the number after, then it's kind of like taking a big step to the next number. So that's what you're going to be looking at. You're going to be looking at these tracks and trying to figure out if your robot or whatever character you use is taking a step back in time or taking a step forward in time. If you've got a copy of Huey Lewis in the News and you like the movie Back to the Future, now is the time to play that soundtrack. So we're going to do a little bit of work with our just before and just after. I want you to think about our robots. Are they taking a step forward down the line, or are they taking a step back when you're looking at them? When we get out our work, this is what we're going to do. We've got our little number track right here. It looks just like my little one right here. If you don't have a little robot, that's okay. You can put a penny on these numbers and think about where they are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this. It says just before. This is what you're going to do with your parents or your auntie and your uncle or your cousin or whichever. We're going to do just before, okay? Just before means we're taking a step back in time. So we're going to look at this number right here. It says 6. So what I want you to do is I want you to take your little robot or a little penny or whatever you got as your counter, and you're going to put it on the 6. Okay? So if we have this little 6 right here, we're going to find the 6 and we're going to put a little penny or something on here. Now we're going just before. That means we need to take a step back in time. That means we need to go this way on our line. So if we've got our little guy on this 6, we need to go back in time. Well, what was the number just before? What am I pointing to? I hope you can see it. I'm pointing to the 5. My little robot takes a step back in time. I'm going to put the number 5 right there. Okay? You need to find the number that is before the 9. Well, you need to put your little counter, your little robot guy on the 9 and then come back in time and see what it is. That's the top part right here, so that's what you want to fill out. Now, when you get down to this bottom part, this is just after. This means you are going forward in time, okay? This is you going into the bathroom, or your number's going into the bathroom. But we don't like to talk about what they do in the bathroom. We'll leave them alone at that part. But let's see what we can come up with for the numbers that are just after. So for this one, we look here, we've got the number 5. We need to know what number is just after 5. So I'm going to take my robot, I'm going to put it on 5 because I know that I have a 5. But when we go just after, we're going to take this guy and he's going to walk a little bit farther. What did he get to? The number just after is 6. So we would write a 6 right in here. So for this bottom part, you're always going to be walking forward. You're not blasting off on your little numbers here. If you want to use your little guys right here, you're going to put this right on the 5, and then you have to move this way for just after. Do we move all the way down? No, we don't want to move all the way down. Do we move all the way back when we're going to just before? No. Just before means we just take one little step. We don't jump all the way down the line. We just go to the next number. So right here we've got a 3. My little robot's on a 3. If I want to know what's just after, he gets to take one big step to that number right there, and then I'd write that number in this spot. So this is your work for today. I need you to fill out this paper as best you can, then take it to whoever's helping you out. Say, how did I do? Talk about which way's forward, which way's back, or just with the numbers that are just before and just after. Take a picture of what you did, send it to your teacher. Think real hard about this math. Think about if you're stepping forward with just after or stepping back with just before. And then fill this out and send it in. Good job, guys. Have a good time with your math. See you later.